All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy JSquared, and today we finally have a Q&A. I feel like I was supposed to do a Q&A like over the summer, and I never ended up getting to it, but we're here now. That's all that matters. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. I'll probably answer a couple questions from questions that people ask me on Instagram, get a couple of those in, do some quick hitters, and we'll be on our merry way. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I have my questions here to the side. I have a question from Emma.vp, and I think this is a really good place to start. The question was, who are you? I don't know you, but I love your content. And I think that's a good place to start, just because if there's anybody watching this video that doesn't know who I am, this is a good place to, get to know each other a little bit, introduce myself and all that. So let's start there. I'm Jordan Jimenez, otherwise known as JSquared. J times J, the initials, that's where JSquared comes from. I'm a photographer. I'm from the Bay Area. I literally just turned 26 a couple days ago. I guess if we want to talk about things I've done in my career, some people and brands that I've worked with are Jordan Poole, Nike, Steph Curry, Curry brand, Under Armour, Body Armor, Gary Payton, Adidas, Slam, Bleacher Report, definitely a few more. Let me see. Foot Locker, Shoe Palace, In the Lab, Unlimited Potential Basketball. So just to name a few, but that's who I am. I'm a photographer from the Bay Area. A very simple answer. A lot of you guys know me as Jordan Poole's photographer. I'm his personal guy. So yeah, that's who I am. And you guys will get to know me a little bit more as we continue with the YouTube journey and creating content and content to go along with my art and everything. So that's who Jordan Jimenez is. So let's go ahead and get into the next question, and it comes from Not Damn Run. When did you think photography could change your life? And to be honest, I started photography when I was a senior in high school, kind of going through a lot at the time. Parents going through a divorce, stuff as, being a teenager and stuff like that, mental health issues, just different things. And I was kind of going through a depression. So one of the main reasons that I actually even picked up a camera was to change my life. And, I think that because a lot of my ties to photography are mental health related, it immediately changed my life. And that was kind of the intention with it. As a senior in high school, I wasn't playing basketball anymore. I had gotten hurt my sophomore year, and I was just kind of going to school, going to work, doing whatever extracurriculars I was doing. Eventually, I just kind of got to the point where I realized I was in my depression. I didn't know at the time, the 5, 6, 7 years leading up to that, what I was really going through. I thought I was just normal and, just kind of just sad all the time and whatever, whatever you want to call that. That's what I was going through at the time. And as a senior in high school, I kind of decided, well, let's do something and let's make a change. Let's try to do something new. And I was just drawn to photography. Photography just kind of became this thing where it was my way of seeing the world in a different way and seeing the beauty and the minute and just looking at the closer details of life, because life is hard. To be honest, life is very hard. And photography was my way of seeing where the good was in life and not seeing life in such a negative way. So for me, photography changed my life right away. And I guess if you guys want to talk about career-wise, when I might have realized photography could change my life, I think the key moment for me in my career was actually deciding to drop out of school. I was at the University of San Francisco for about a year and a half. I think I was at the start of my 4th semester. It was February 5th, so the anniversary of that's kind of coming up. I was just at school one day, just doing my homework, and I was just studying. And, I was pretty decent at school, I'm not gonna lie. I was always at school very early in the morning, getting my homework done so that I could go shoot after work and just focus on the photography and everything. There was just one day where I was just sitting at USF doing my homework, and I was really just debating dropping out of school. And up to this point, I was always joking around with my parents hey, I might drop out of college, blah, blah, blah. But really it was me presenting that in their heads that hey, this kind of might be a possibility. But yeah, one day I was just doing homework, and so I texted my mom, and I was just like, I'm gonna go home and edit my photos. And that was the last time I was at USF for school. And so I went home, edited my photos, and shortly after dropping out of school, I was able to do my first McDonald's All-American in Atlanta. So that class was like Zion Williamson's class, RJ Barrett, all of them. Yeah, then the next week I went to Spain to do some work for In the Lab, Adidas, and the Euro League. And from there, the rest is kind of history for the people that have been following along on the journey. But for the people that don't really know who I am, I've shot a lot of NBA games. I've done some work for the Warriors, some stuff for like Steph Curry and everything. Shot a finals run. Just a lot of crazy things. I've been all over the world for photography, and just being able to travel and be around basketball, all because of photography. It's been such an amazing thing. So I think dropping out of school was the biggest moment for me, because I realized so many doors were just waiting to be opened. I just didn't have the opportunity to open them unless I gave myself the time to. And so, I always figured if I ever failed, I could go back to school. I could go back and, try to get my degree, whatever, if I failed, which I never believed that I would fail. But I think that's the moment where I really fully keyed in on photography as a career. And it's funny because I never thought I would end up being a photographer. And I think somebody asked that, so I'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, I think dropping out of college was the big moment for me for realizing that I could change my life. And it was just mainly out of belief. Like, I really believe that I could be a successful photographer. And success is kind of subjective, as is photography. I felt like I could push myself to different heights, and I needed the opportunity to push myself. So thankfully, my parents allowed me to drop out of school, after investing so much into my education and everything. So I'm forever grateful for them for believing in me and allowing me to actually make that move. And, thankfully it's worked out. So not too bad. Let's go on to the next question. One from KMD.Yang and Shuda June. How do you balance life being on the road, and how do you stay creative from burnout? And how do you take care of your mental while traveling so much? I kind of just paired these questions together because they're so similar. So obviously a lot of my job has to do with traveling, especially with JP going to the Wizards. I have to go out there pretty often, and it's a little bit of a long flight. It's about 5.5 hours from the Bay, I think. And I make that trip pretty frequently. So always traveling, and that's on top of, whatever other gigs that I take on, any other projects I'm working on. I think the main way that I stay away from burnout and kind of maintain that balance is honestly through my routines. And I think that I'm pretty strict about my routines. A lot of the things that I do, I kind of have to do. Like, there are certain things that I consider at this point to be non-negotiable that I have to do every day. Otherwise, I just don't feel like my day went according to plan, if that makes sense. Not that every day has to go according to plan. I think sticking to those non-negotiables of my routine, that's kind of what keeps me away from burnout and allows me to stay balanced. So some of those things I would say are reading, working out, writing, meditating, doing my skincare routine and everything, which has kind of just been recently added over maybe the last couple years. Not a perfect routine, but I think I'm trying to figure that out, and it's such a nice way to start and end the day. So just keeping those in. Also photo walks, and I'm just looking over here just because I don't want to miss anything. I want to give you guys as much information or insight as I can. Listening to podcasts, audiobooks, stuff like that. So just things that are always going to kind of stay constant for me, because to be honest, as a freelance photographer, there's not anything consistent about it. Like, the paychecks aren't consistent, the work isn't consistent. There's not even healthcare. But, so I think that having something to kind of regulate a sense of normalcy, kind of finding something consistent in the chaos, that's what keeps me away from burnout and allows me to stay creative. And, going going on top of that, to stay creative, I'm always just looking in different places. I'm looking at photo books. I'm looking at obviously like social media with Instagram, Pinterest, all of that stuff. And I'm always looking in different fields that aren't necessarily directly related to my field. So like as a basketball photographer and, you know, everything that I do, I'm looking at other sports. I'm looking at concerts. I'm looking at food photographers. I'm looking at wildlife photographers, and, you know, just going back into history books and seeing what the photos look like. So for me, I take a lot of inspiration from everywhere. I think that's kind of what helps me stay creative, just like looking at different fields that aren't necessarily related to mine, and things maybe that I don't even really necessarily like sometimes, but I think always having that openness to different areas of life, I guess. I think that's kind of what helps me stay creative. I think that kind of just takes care of my mental, to be honest. And like I said earlier, just as a photographer, one of the main reasons that I even shoot is for my own mental health. Thankfully, like, I'm able to travel and work while maintaining my mental health because it's doing something that I genuinely do enjoy. Like, as a photographer, I really, really love what I do. Yeah, I think just having those routines helps me stay sane when things aren't necessarily super consistent in my life, other than, like, you know, just being home and maintaining those routines and, like, obviously my friends and stuff. But let's go ahead and get on to the next question. This is a question from, I don't know how to say it, Shal, two underscores, Shal. Thank you for your question. Sorry for butchering your name, but the question is, how do you get over self-doubt when you're unsure in photography and content creation? But first, I need some water because that's a lot of talking. As I was literally just saying in that last question, photography for me is one of those things where that actually does feed into my mental health and its maintenance and growing in my mental health. And to be honest, I think photography in some ways is partially a selfish thing that I do. And ooh, wow, I don't like the way that rolled off my tongue. But photography is one of those things that's partially selfish for me. I always had a hard time really dealing with that because honestly, all I want to do sometimes is just shoot. And it's kind of a selfish thing time-wise, I think. But I think it's okay to not feel bad about being selfish sometimes. And so for me, photography was kind of always just one of those things where I didn't really care what anybody thought. I honestly still don't. Like, every time I post on Instagram, so let's say some Warriors photos or some basketball photos or photo walk photos, whatever that looks like, I can't say that I really genuinely care about what people say about my photos, good or bad. And I think that's because photography, while of course is my medium for, you know, sharing my art and everything, photography for me has always been being able to first take care of my mental health, and then second, being able to shine my own light and shine the light of the things around me into the world. And so photography is just my medium of creativity, self-expression. And so I think that's why I don't care. I don't really care what people say. I don't really care about people's critiques because it's not for them. It's really not. Like, stuff like this, like these videos and everything like that, that's for you guys. That's to inspire somebody. The photos are also to inspire people because I know that in sharing my journey and in sharing the process, somebody's going to be inspired. And that's, you know, or at least hopefully somebody will be inspired. But that's such an amazing thing because we all have these beautiful platforms now where we can touch the lives of people, millions and thousands, whatever. I don't know how big the world is, but thousands of miles away that you may never ever meet. And that's such an amazing thing because you get to share your voice, share that platform, and inspire somebody. And I love that. I think that's such a beautiful thing. But I never doubt myself because as long as I feel like I'm doing my best with my work, whether that's a photo, a video, with my clothing brand, if I feel like I'm doing my best in this current moment, I think that's okay. And I don't think that I really have to care what anybody thinks. Like, obviously deep down, there's some desire of like hoping that people think my work is good and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't think I have to worry about the work not being good, because if it's my best and I know that I'm putting out my best effort, I think that that's okay. And that's my best in that current moment. Like if I'm giving everything that I have to a current moment and creating a photo and, you know, creating a video, whatever that looks like, I think that as long as I'm doing my best in that current moment, that's something that I can build off of. And you're not really ever going to improve unless you move on to the next thing. You can't really think about the last thing and be like kind of dwelling on it, wondering if it's good enough or not. I think you just have to share the work and move on and just put it out into the world, because the universe will give you that feedback. The people will give you that feedback, and you yourself will know if it's good or not. Like what I like today, I might not like tomorrow, and vice versa. I think that as long as I'm taking a step every day to get better and improving, then I can't really doubt myself, because what I'm doing in that moment is the best that I can do. So what more can you ask of yourself? So for all the people that are doubting themselves right now and wondering if you should share the work and everything like that, just share it, and, you know, use that as a stepping stone, as something to build off of. I think those were 3 or 4 pretty decent questions. I don't want this to be too long of a watch, because I can always do another Q&A if people want another Q&A. So those are a couple of things, and let me see what other questions we have. We'll do some quick hitters. From my boy Kyle K. Valentine, he says, pho or ramen? I want to say I like the taste of ramen better, but I think pho can kind of be good at any time, any moment of the day. Whereas ramen, I probably wouldn't eat like certain ramens for breakfast, but I could eat a pho for breakfast, especially after, you know, like a long night. But yeah, pho or ramen, I'm gonna vote ramen off of the taste. But pho's versatility, almost had the vote. Nick Than, which dino nuggie shape is your favorite? And there's the spiky boy. I forget what his name is. It's not a Stegosaurus. Oh, maybe it is a Stegosaurus. I think it's a Stegosaurus, and the long neck one is a Brontosaurus, perhaps. I gotta look it up. Yeah, Stegosaurus is the spiky one. Oh, Triceratops is decent too. I'm gonna go Stegosaurus. I feel like that's the most dinosaur looking of the dinosaur chicken nuggies. So that's my answer for that. _ha_Lou says, if you were a tree, what kind would you be? Says a lot about a person. I don't know about too many trees, but I'm gonna go with an oak tree. I feel like an oak tree, I think they're supposed to be pretty strong, and they kind of take a long time to grow, but they're sturdy and have a good foundation. So I'm gonna go with an oak tree. Redwoods are cool because, you know, they have some really tall redwood trees in California, but I don't know. Is bamboo a tree? Maybe bamboo, if that's a tree. I don't know. Is that a tree or a plant? Gotta be a tree, right? If it's wood. Gotta be. I don't know how to say this profile, so I'm just gonna spell it with the letters it has. TXAAA3. They said, what are some places you want to travel that you haven't yet? I'm gonna say more of Japan. I saw very little of Japan when we went out there for the Warriors and the Wizards. So definitely more of Japan. I want to go to Korea. I want to go to Egypt. I want to see the pyramids and everything. What else do I want to see? Dubai, maybe. I'm not crazy desiring to go to Dubai, although I will go one day. Let's give you one more place. Let's do Rome, like the Colosseum and everything. I'm a mythology guy, so, you know, that'd be kind of cool. All right. Oh, I don't know how to, wow, you guys have crazy Instagram names. I don't know how to pronounce any of it. Okay, SABETBS. Sabitubs. Does it annoy you when people ask you to take a picture with you at games? Not at all. I think the only time that might potentially annoy me is when somebody asks me to take a picture while I'm shooting. Like, there's a whole game going on. Like, we could just wait a little bit, and you know, I'll take all the photos in the world. I don't mind. I'm a nice guy. What cameras do you own? That's a good one. So, quick hitter. And let me know if you guys want a full gear breakdown. I think that's another video that I would like to do. But FX3, Q2, and then over there, A9, A7R3, and then I have a couple 360 cameras, Polaroid, all that fun stuff. So quick answer, but let me know if you guys want a full gear breakdown at some point. Jazz the Sav said, favorite stadium besides Chase, favorite software / app to edit videos, and favorite book. Favorite stadium besides Chase, I would say, I mean, best memories, Boston, just because winning the 2022 finals and being able to be a part of the celebration and everything, super cool. Madison Square Garden was super cool. Also, going back to Boston, just knowing that Kobe was like fighting them boys in the championship and like all of that, that was super cool. By fighting, I just mean competing. But Madison Square Garden, that was a super cool one, just feeling a little bit of the history of the building. The ceiling looks super cool. I wish I got a chance to shoot in Oracle Arena a little bit more, just because the energy in there was insane. Went to a lot of games though. Went to a lot of games as a kid and, you know, growing up and everything. So very thankful for Oracle Arena. And being in the United Center was super cool. Just seeing like the MJ statue and everything. And every time you go to a new arena, you can kind of feel the energy a little bit. And I don't know if that's just because of my memories or, you know, there's actually crazy energy in there, but every time I've gone, I've just felt a little bit of a different energy and just knowing what's happened there in the past and all that. So those are a couple arenas. Favorite software and app to edit videos, I'm on Premiere Pro, so big Adobe guy. Favorite book. Off the top, I have a book behind the camera. It's the Kobe Bryant Mamba Mentality book. So that was just super cool to just see like Andy Bernstein's photos all over the place, and you know, the way that they told the story of Kobe. I'm obviously a big Kobe guy if I keep talking about Kobe, but yeah, that's a good one. I have this basketball book, the Sports Illustrated basketball book. Got it from like Barnes and Nobles as a kid, and that's one that I think really piqued my interest in basketball photography, like subconsciously, just because I was always looking at all of the crazy photos that were in that book. So that's another one. But I guess if we want to talk about like actual, just like regular books that you read, Atomic Habits has been really good for me. I read a lot of self-development books and everything like that, so nothing too crazy. The Percy Jackson books I loved as a kid. There was another one I just read a couple years ago. It was like Black Leopard, Red Fox or something like that, or Red Wolf. But yeah, those are a couple books. Let's get one more in. Ooh, maybe what's your Val in Warzone, KD? Terrible, trash. But let me know if I should start streaming again. I would love to start streaming again. Are you related to JP? Yes, I'm his short brother. No, guys, we're not related. Wow, there's actually a lot more questions than I thought. You and JP related? I don't know why we get multiple of those. Like I don't know. Like I didn't get the height, so. All right, one more question. One last one. All right, here we go. Dream location or event you have yet to shoot. Off the top of my head, with it coming up, the Olympics. That's one that I really, really want to photograph one day. But yeah, that's the short answer. So, sorry it was a little bit choppy at the end. Hopefully we got a little bit of insight or something, but let me know. Let me know what else you guys want to know about. Ask me some more questions. We can run back a Q&A probably in a couple weeks if you guys want. So let me know if you guys want that. Let me know what else you guys want to see. And, you know, thank you for just bearing with me. I'm still trying to get comfortable talking to the camera and everything and creating like content and everything. So thank you guys for being patient. Thank you guys for all of the love and support. I genuinely do appreciate it, but let me know what else you guys want to see. I know you guys want to see a lot of JP, so that will obviously come, but Let me know what else you guys want to see. So, you know, whatever that looks like, day in the life, gear breakdowns, what's in my bag, whatever. Let me know. Let me know what you guys want to see. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here on the journey. Mr. You Know Who Shot It, signing out. Bye.